I wasn't very proud of these years. In fact, I would argue that most of the time, from 2016 to 2017, I don't even recall kasi I was just getting through the day, getting through the time. I was so heavily in love with my ex-best friend. And I only wanted him to see me. But I didn't realize that he was never gonna choose me. Maybe because I was too familiar. Maybe because I was only good for that and not for anything else lasting. It became so bad personally kasi not only was I used to him knocking on my door at the dead of the night, mga 11 p.m. Pero I could never see another man. I would always see him. I would always see the memory of him, how he speaks, how he breathes, how he walks. In every romantic gesture na I would receive from other people, I would always compare it to my ex-best friend. And because of the yearning physically, I was, safe to say, I was really trashy in years there. I couldn't say no to anyone. And I never told anyone about this kasi it was so different from who I normally was. I wasn't able to tell anyone for a year or so. But in 2017, I decided that maybe this is a secret that I shouldn't keep anymore if I wanted to move on. Because I wasn't moving on. I hurt so many people, good people, that wanted me in their lives. But I wasn't able to muster any strength to love another person because I always saw my ex-best friend. So I had to tell someone. I had to tell Pao. I was so afraid that Pao would judge me different or, I don't know, maybe get into a fight with that ex-best friend of mine. I was so afraid kasi their opinions are the only ones that matter in my life anymore. Mom was gone. My siblings having their own problems, which I understand them for, pero they were never there for any of the dramatic things that happened. So Pao's opinion mattered to me. He was family. It's my family. I finally told Pao and a bunch of other friends that I had. And it took so much strength to tell people. And it's so hard to have the strength to say no, to have the strength to know what's good for you. That took me so long to realize. And telling people about it was a start. And because of that truth, yung strong na barkada namin nung high school, it broke apart. Because of complications, because of, hidden truths about ourselves. This one was a particularly big truth that I had to drop. And I was only left with Pao. I would kill for Pao. Pero yung mga friendships na kala mo buong buo, ang lakas-lakas, hindi pala ganun kalakas. A lot of betrayals happened in time na yun. And to think na we were only able to get together because of cosplay even. Pero one particular female friend of mine broke my trust when she told other people about my secret. I wasn't ready to share it, divulge it to anyone else, pero she did it for me. And the moment that she did that, I realized her for who she was. A snake. Grabe. And to think that that ex female best friend of mine, I was willing to live with her, to make her my maid of honor someday if I were to get married. She was the sister I never had. But eventually, she betrayed me. And that betrayal wasn't even that big. Pero all the little things that came after, and it just built up this, you know, distrust in her. Until now, she's there. I think she still cosplays, pero it's one of the hard lessons that I had to learn. Going back, I wasn't very proud of myself in 2016, 2017. Because it was all me trying to cope with what was happening, with my feelings, with the desire to fill up that void that he left me with. And my struggle to finally say no to things. It was a hard 2 years. Thankfully, after that, there was this rebirth. Just like Final Fantasy VII Remake na may rebirth, Naru also has rebirth era. Rebirth era came at such a weird time. It was the time I particularly cosplayed PH. I MC'd for the first time with them. During this time, I was at a talking stage with. There was already 2 years of friendship between the two of us, and I wasn't expecting for us to spark the way that it did. Kasi I've not sparked for anyone for such a long time. You could say na he was potentially a rebound, but he was so much more than that. He sparked something in me that I thought was long gone. And I was so happy to be able to have the strength to go for what I want and to be reciprocated on that. It was the very first time that in any relationship, I was the one who was prioritized. It felt so good. Good to be doted on, to be loved, to really have someone listen to you. That was what kind of relationship that was. Albeit a shorter one compared to the almost married. Every single moment was passionate. That made me whole again. Eventually, I realized that there were so many problems that we had. His imperfections. Though that in itself was not bad for me because everybody is imperfect in their own way. And as much as I was growing with this person, I don't think this person grew with me. In fact, I think it only revealed the kind of person that he was. Or he is. He's not dead, he's still alive. He's still in my life, actually. I wasn't ready to give up on him. Although there were so many red flags already. I still loved him so much. He allowed me the opportunity to love another person. But he was the one who gave up. Coming from a separated family, you're going to want to fix things, despite how broken we are. Breaking up was never an option for me, even if it presented itself here. Although that devastated me, made me rethink about my values a lot, because there was no way but up for me. And he wasn't willing to accompany me in that journey. And this came. The pandemic came as a shock to everybody. There were so many things that happened during the pandemic. Since I broke up with my ex at the time, my ex-best friend came. That's when I realized that he was such a scum of the earth that he would come back to me, realizing that I was single again the very last time. we spent the night together. Mind you, at the time, I was so used to being trash. I didn't think so highly of myself anymore. It was a little convoluted. I used the means that I had in order to finally know what he felt about me. So after one night, after so much passion, I finally waited for a bit of time so that, post not clarity hits. And I asked him, sabi ko sa kanya, do you still love me? And then he told me, in the eye, I never stopped. Felt so bad for his girlfriend. I never knew if she found out about us. But to be in a relationship with such a scum, that ex-best friend of mine kept on promising that year, 2020, that he would break up with his girlfriend and would come for me on all four, court me back to his life. One thing happened during the pandemic. It was one of the group chats that we had. He said talaga, miss na miss ko nang makipag-quickie sa girlfriend. I mean, we weren't in a relationship in any given point in time. The disrespect that I felt that day. I was broken, disgusted. I was so angry. And he kept on gaslighting me in the sense that, why would I be so affected if I didn't have feelings for him? Parang at the time, he was still pushing the idea that I still had a thing for him. Idiot. No. Wanted so badly to go back to who we were. I wanted to be friends with you again. But then, you go and do this. That sparked my desire to finally stand up for myself. And I blocked him. It devastated me because I wasn't just saying goodbye to an ex-lover, but I was also saying goodbye to best friend. And best friend breakups are so much more worse. In the pandemic, I realized so many things. And that no matter how much you pine for anyone, it's never going as what you envisioned it to be. It became so hazy. I still dated, I still tried romance. Pero I always end up getting betrayed, getting lied to, used. There was this one relationship na I had a lapse of judgment. Tangan niya ako ng 5 digits, I think. Till then, it still didn't matter to me. The time na I said no was when my friends were affected, not just me. Maybe romance is just not for me. The idea of romance, it's something that you learn at a very early age upon seeing your parents. For most people, that's true. For me, that was never really the case. I knew so many ideas of love from different people. But I realized that longing ko for love, for completeness, for contentment in my life, it was never going to be fulfilled because I never really learned how. How can you if the only thing that you've learned is the lack of love or indifference or shouting and, drinking and so much lack? It made sense that my friends would often laugh. I have such a bad taste for men. That's the ongoing joke that I have. Then in the pandemic, so many of my mentors died. One of which was my tita. Although I would dare call her my ninang. I wasn't able to make her money kasi I wanted to get married first so that I could make her legally, officially money. Kasi she's been like that for my entire life. She led such a bad life, always caring for other people. And I wasn't able to make her rest, make her feel at ease. She was always working. Kahit na senior na siya. Then, another death came sa CPH naman, si Direk Alex. He didn't have that much of an age gap. And he was so young in so many aspects. Pero, Direk Alex was able to teach me so many things. Things that I expect to learn from my professors, from my teachers. No, he wasn't any of those. He was just a friend. He was our director, one of our directors sa CPH. He taught me that leadership was never something that you gain by default. It's something that you model. And his form of leadership, it wasn't telling people what to do and how to do it. No. It was telling them that every single action that you will do will have ripples and that it impacts so many people what you do. And he was able to do it so kindly. And it was something that I needed the most. Because for the most part of my life, feeling ko, ang daming nag-force ng opinion nila sa akin. Whether it be physically violent or verbally abusive, Direk Alex was such a shining light. He was gone too soon. He taught me that no matter how bad things are, we don't move on. We move forward. We focus on what's the next action. Focus on what you can do right now in the present. Moving on is trying to forget about the past. But that's not the case, especially for someone like me. The best incident that I could relate to was I had COVID at the time. I think I was one of the first people that had COVID at the time. No one was declaring because a lot of people in Costco was so scared to reveal. So 2020 was a time, was a year to be so scared. He had this idea of me declaring that I had COVID in our first online event ever, which was FanFest. FanFest, will never forget our experience then kasi it was such an emotional time for me. Despite having COVID, I still emceed with my two other friends, si Kenkoy and si Envy, my best friend sa cosplay. Kasi noong time na yun, when I had COVID, it was the time na I first realized na hindi pala talaga ako mahal ng pamilya ko. When I had COVID, I was so scared kasi I had asthma, hereditary siya. So I was extra scared. COVID probably would not have killed me at the time. I was fairly young. It was more of a mental battle than a physical one for me. With the last hope that I had for my dad, sinabi ko sa kanya. I told him because I was scared, not because I had COVID. Because I wanted him there. Tapos, when I had COVID, I learned from another family member na my brother, one of my brothers said, bakit mo pa sasabihin kay pa? Hindi napahamak ko pa siya. What kind of, what kind of family member would tell you that? Is it my fault that I have this sickness? Not so much as a, kamusta ka na? Or anong kailangan mo? It was such a far cry from the days na I thought my brothers meant the world to me. How much I wanted their love. That was the time that I realized hindi ako mahal ng pamilya ko. Not only that, the icing on the cake was my almost death experience. Kasi kung may COVID din ako, and may COVID din yung uncle ko, sabay na lang kaming gagaling. Para hindi na kailangan mag-consume ng other facilities. Kasi at the time, my dad sent me to another condominium away from home. But there were several reasons why I wanted to go home. One, I wanted to recover somewhere safe. That somewhere I felt that is safe. Tapos, secondly, I wanted to be part of FanFest despite having COVID and all of my peripherals, all of my facilities were at home, my mic, my laptop, etc. And quite frankly, the condo I stayed at, sa ex niya kasi yun. So, I didn't wanna impose anymore on a person that was a stranger to me. When we got home, my dad was panicking kasi the security guards at my place, they didn't let me go home because they didn't get the memo that I needed to go home. You could say na yung panic niya, it was on the verge of hyperventilating. And he was driving. And I thought, despite being emotional, despite having COVID, this is dangerous, I told him. I was never a person that screamed, disrespected them. But this time, I put my foot down. I told him in a screaming voice with so many covers on my face kasi nga, he was so afraid of me. He was so afraid of catching COVID. Sabi ko, stop the car. Screaming at him. Stop the car. Go to the sidewalk. I'll ask for a service by the barangay para ihatid ako sa lung center. And you can go home. Leave me here. I can go by myself. It was at the time na when he was in his panic mode, he said repeatedly, paano naman ako? Hindi mo ba ako naisip? Paano ako? It confirmed so much that all of the memories went back. When the going gets tough, when lives are at stake, that experience made me realize that I knew my mom hated my dad's guts, but that was the first time that I realized why. He never, to his core, deep down inside, I realized that at the time, he never loved me. And realizing having an epiphany while being sick can be so strong that it sticks with you. And all of the experiences in the past made sense because of that. I was expecting that in at Lang Center he would leave me there. I didn't mind. I was preparing myself for it, pero he still stayed. Maybe out of guilt, maybe after realizing what poor excuse of a man he was. I don't know what made him stay that day. Pero I was devastated kasi I finally realized di niya ako mahal. The story of my life became this recurring theme of wanting love, getting love, but never being given love. I know probably others might have it worse than me, pero these past few years, after the pandemic, made me realize that I'm not such a strong person. And because of this, so many thoughts go into my head. Thoughts that started no high school. That maybe, just maybe, the world would benefit more if I wasn't in it when I was in high school. The only way to distract me was not just gospel. Those were the years that I started self-harming. I would always have a blade in my bag. So every single thought that I have was one slice of my arm. Nobody knew at home kasi I always had a cardigan or a jacket. I always hid it well. The only person that knew about me not sleeping, me self-harming was one of the exes of my brother. I never realized that the intrusive thoughts I had of offing myself, it wasn't a phase. Rather, it was something that was gradually growing in me. In the pandemic, it became so much worse. Kasi not only was I thinking about harming myself, but I was trying to stop doing things, putting myself in danger, like not eating. There are some days that I think I don't deserve to eat unless I've done something super productive. I'll reward myself with eating. It's hard to realize that ikaw na you don't look like you don't eat. That's true. And I've struggled with self-image so much. Especially last year. Whenever I look at myself in the mirror, I would be so disgusted. So therapy became a constant in my life now. It's safe to say that there are so many friends that are helping me through it. Keep on reassuring me that I have a place in this world. Because yung thoughts that come to my head is, you don't have a place in this world. That you're a waste of space. Na parang pinanganak ako na hindi pinag-isipan. Kasi why would anyone act like that if I didn't deserve it? This is our video. It's one of the ways to inform. Just like what Kirakat. Being 30 years old is something very bittersweet. Sweet in the sense that, wow, I've come so far. I've hurt so many people, but I've made so many great memories. It's bitter kasi the consistent feeling of not wanting to be present anymore, wanting to die. That's a normal for me. But I'm ready. I'm ready to go. That's why realizing your idea of being ready to go. I live my life every day knowing that I might not see tomorrow anymore. Just try to struggle to find a reason to stay. But until now, I don't have an answer. And I think that's what I want to impart to everybody. Kasi I think we're all pressured to live our lives the way that a 30-year-old would know how, or a 25-year-old would know, or a 21-year-old or an 18-year-old would know, or even a 60-year-old would know. We're all pressured by society, by standards, by norms to act in a way that we should. Things are not what they seem, and we're all struggling with something. I just want you all to know that I'm so very grateful to have a platform like this, no matter how humble it is. But I'm so grateful still to still want the willingness to stay and live, have the willingness to eat, to do things I love, to be with people who want me back in their lives. See, otherwise, I feel like I'm not wanted anywhere. To be invisible. I hope that this video was able to make you realize something, mostly about me, if the entire video was not enough. I hope that we can all be kinder to each other, as long as we still live. That's it. Bye.